Welcome to another episode on our channel. I'm starting off with something different. These are Harmony Kingdom figurines. I had gotten them for my grandmother way back when, uh, who I was able to hold on till the age of 97. She left this earth. Uh, but these represent things that she liked. For some reason, she loved frogs and she loved turtles. I don't know why. I never stopped to ask her, strange as it may seem. I just never thought about it. But I bought them for her during one Christmas break. And it was important, when she did die, that these were the only things I really wanted, because they reminded me of her, what I had given to her, and of course, what she had given me over the years. So, objects are great, but they're even more special if they represent something important. And these represent my grandmother. So we're going to pause now and talk about a figure that I'll make for you on screen. Um, yeah, Captain John Miller from Saving Private Ryan. So we'll be right back. We are back, and this is what I have so far with Captain John Miller from Saving Private Ryan. A lot of the clothing and accessories I was able to procure from an internet 1/6 scale supplier. I'll put that in the description below. And the body I got from a different 1/6 scale supplier. I'll put that in the description below. The body came without feet or hand pegs. It's a DID narrow body, new and improved body that cost probably $9.99. And again, no feet, no hand pegs. That's why it's a little more economically priced. I have lots of feet and lots of pegs and lots of wrist pegs and so forth, but sometimes wrist pegs that I do have, or the feet and the foot pegs that I do have, don't fit into the body. That was true for the feet. So with hot water, was able to, and I mean boiling hot water, my husband had the muscle to get the foot peg into the foot, but it was not going to fit into the lower leg. The ball socket is much too small for the peg to fit. So I asked him to drill it out. And now we have no resistance. The foot peg goes into the lower part of the leg and out. There's no resistance. It's not going to be held in place. But the thing you do in that situation is around the upper part of the peg, you basically just put some hot glue around it. Put it back in the foot, keep moving the foot so that it dries and keeps the foot in, but doesn't keep it in one particular position. So that's my trick for feet. If you have to make some adjustments to get it on a particular body. So these feet aren't going anywhere at this time. And if they do, if the hot glue comes off, you just reapply some more hot glue, put it back in, keep twisting the foot until you have the mobility that you want and the foot stays on. Now, no wrist pegs. All right. So we have a couple solutions for that, but we'll get to that. Well, actually, we can talk about it now, but we'll actually do it after I get the jacket on. All right. Because this is a button-up jacket. Trying to get the hands over the jacket sometimes can be a problem, although it looks large enough. Yeah, I don't think it will be a problem. So maybe we will do the hands right now. I do have 2 sets of wrist pegs. Unfortunately, this set is too thick, so I cannot get it into the hole, the peg hole opening. It's too tight. Now, my husband could drill that out. We could do the same thing like we did with the feet, but as it stands right now, it doesn't fit. Instead of drilling it out, though, I do have wrist pegs, on the other hand, that are way too loose. It just goes in, no friction whatsoever. In this situation, put some hot glue around it, put it in, just keep moving it so it dries and holds it in, but allows you the ability to move the hand around. The other thing you can do is just put the glue around it, let it dry, and then just push it in. If you don't have extra wrist pegs, another wonderful option you can use is actually a matchstick. This will fit into the end of the hand. And all you have to do is cut it to size. Ooh. I wasn't expecting that to happen. And then just put it in. Now that is too loose too. So you're going to have to put a little glue on it, hot glue, and keep moving it. But the problem with a matchstick is that you cannot bend it up, down at an angle. It's just going to rotate. That's all it's going to do. At least with a wrist peg, where you do the same thing, hot glue around it, you're going to get not only the rotation factor, but the bending it in certain directions. So this is a better option if you do have wrist pegs. And you can get this from a 1/6 scale distributor of parts, bodies, and so forth. I'll put that in the description again. But worst comes to worst, a matchstick will always work. But the only thing you lose is angling. Rotation is fine, but no angling in that situation. All right. Anyway, let's try this. So let me see if I can get this peg into this hand, which can be a challenge. In fact, I very much prefer using hot water, but that did work on the second go around. So that will go in there loosely. What I can do, take some hot glue, just kind of put some over it. Usually get lines of glue this way. Stick it in there and just keep moving that thing. Okay. So it's on there. So his hand will turn. It will go up, down, and so forth. You just have to be a little cautious with it. All right, so I'm going to do that with the other hand because I think I can get it on over the jacket. So we have his hands in. All right. So let's get his jacket on. And one of the things I normally do, which looks like I've kind of messed that part up, but I can take the hand out. That's not going to be a problem. It still has glue on it. I can probably get it back in, no problem, or add a little more glue. I'm going to take some tape and I'm going to put it on the shirt. Basically, put it over the wrist and tape it together because I don't want the sleeve to get bunched up in the sleeve of the jacket. If you do this, you save yourself some valuable time. So make sure the sleeve comes over the wrist and just tape that on there as securely as possible. Put the arms in the back or above his head, either way will work. And slip the jacket on. Make sure the arm is in the right place. And at this point, we'll be able to pull, you can see the shirt there, right? There's the tape. All I need to do is pull the tape off. We're good to go on that arm. The sleeves are not bunched up. There we go. There we go. So the sleeves are exactly where they need to be, not bunched up. In fact, they can even extend out if you want them to. That's just a nice time saver. Otherwise, you have to go digging for it. Now we can put the hands back in, see if we need a little more glue, or if it will just fit as is. Yep, fit as is. Getting there. Got it. Okay. So both hands are on. Now, the pain with this thing is this not only zips up, but it buttons on. It doesn't snap on. So I literally have to take the button and get it through each hole, which is an absolute pain. In fact, I may only do one button for you guys to show you how difficult it can be. Actually, let me zip it up first. Okay, I think I got it. Yeah, okay, so he zipped up. And now getting, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons. And each one individually has to go in through each hole. What I do is I try to get a piece of it through and then just keep pushing, pushing, pushing. And if you have the right angle, you will get the button on. But sometimes it takes 3 or 4 or 5, 6 tries before you get it on. So we'll pause. I won't waste your time. I'll get all the buttons on and we'll be right back. We are back and all the buttons are on. It took about 7 minutes altogether to get all the buttons together. Some were quicker than others. The trick is to angle the button into the hole and just keep pushing, and then try to get your, on the outside of the coat, a fingernail under the button that's being pushed through. And if you can kind of just slip your fingernail all the way around the button, it should pop into place fairly nicely. But it sometimes takes a few tries to get the angle just right, so you can start pushing it through the buttonhole. Anyway, he's starting to look pretty good. We had boots that were peg hole boots. We wouldn't need the feet. We just need the pegs. And you would put the peg into the peg hole boot. But this is an open boot. So, you know, my mind is going 2 places, actually. These boots may not go on very nicely. I'm just going to have to loosen the strings up quite a bit and see if that will slip on very nicely. Normally, if it wasn't made out of material, if it was just a plastic boot, I would drop that thing into the hottest water imaginable and slip it on the foot. That's going to be the easiest thing to do. If this is going to have a hard time going on the foot, then I'm tempted to take the foot off and just to have gravity work with the boot. So the boot stays on just by pure gravity, just how you pose him. So let's pause. Let me get these things as loose as I possibly can and see if it's going to fit over nicely on the foot. We'll be right back. We are back, and I got the boot on just fine, no hot water. Thank God, because it's leather or pleather-like substance, cloth, whatever. It wouldn't have taken water very well. So the foot went on fine, and then I figured out, in retrospect, I should put the gaiter on first. So I just took the foot off with the boot on, put the gaiter on, put the foot back in, and the neat thing is the strap is going to hold it in place. So he's going to be good. So let's try it with the gaiter first, I suppose. With the gaiter, you want the strap towards the back and the holes on the outside of the leg. So we're just going to do this. Actually, it might be easier to take the foot off. Because, let me go ahead and get the boot on first. What you want to do is you want to loosen it as much as you possibly can. Then I'll take the foot off with the boot on and then put the gaiter on, because that'll be the easiest way to get it on now that I'm thinking about it further. So I'll take an awl and kind of just loosen things up as best as I can. I don't want to loose the threads in the upper holes at the top of the boot, but anything I can get away with in terms of loosening the threads without losing these pieces would be great. The problem is when if you by accident pull the string out of the top holes of the boots, trying to get them back in is going to be a pain. So it's best if that does not happen on any level. So I'm just loosening kind of going down each set of holes, loosening as best as I can. I also can see that the string is not straight at the end. So I want to, when I tighten these things back up, I want to make sure I try to get things a little bit straighter, even with thread. And hopefully, fingers crossed, this foot will go on, or this boot will go on easy with this foot. You kind of want to have the foot pointing down as much as possible. And since it's not in there via peg, it's being held in by glue. I'm going to be a little more gentle than I typically am. It's going down bits and pieces, it's on. So now the big thing is to find that flap get eaten. Got it. All right. Good. Yeah, let me see if I can tighten this up. So now it's just a matter of tightening the shoes back, or the boots back up. We'll do it set by set. There we go. Okay. Now, we'll just tie this, put a loop around it. This is where finger dexterity is nice. And eyesight, that works. There we go. All right. So, and the reason why I was hesitant to put the gaiter over the boot in retrospect is it goes on very easily this way. You just kind of fold the pants, slip it into the gaiter, kind of get it started. And then reach in here with some pliers and just pull. There we go. Good. Put a little tighter if you want it to. Now you're going to have to bring it closer on the leg. Find that peg hole. Whoops. Head came apart, which is actually good. I can show you how I put that on. But those of you who have watched me before kind of already know the process there. All right, let's see what happens. Okay. Now we're going to pull the strap over the heel of the boot. Okay. Now, sometimes what I do, if I don't like how the pants are kind of fitting into the gaiters, I'll take a flat edge screwdriver, just kind of drive it down a bit. See that? Not too bad. I'll probably have to mess with them a bit more, but let's pause. Let me get some hot water and I'll show you how to put the head on. He already has been on, so maybe I might not need hot water, but this is a body that can take a long neck or a short neck. This is a short neck because the head comes with the neck. So let's just see if I can snap it on. Yeah, I didn't hear a snap, but it appears that he's on. Let me mess with him a bit so that I can get the pants looking a little sharper in terms of the gaiters. And yeah, we'll be right back. We are back, and I put a belt on him just to keep his pants up. It's a narrow body, so a belt is very helpful to this process. So he's actually looking pretty darn good. The last thing to put on him would be his web belt, canteen, gun. And I'm former military, but I don't know how they wore their uniforms back then. I kind of looked at some pictures and kind of got an idea. I could be totally off on this. Couldn't find anything about the knife, except that he borrowed a knife in the movie. We did see some shots of the movie before we decided to put them together. So, yeah, I do hope I have things halfway decent. When I say I'm former military, I was MEDAC. So that's kind of soft military, really. We didn't do the infantry. I do remember basic training, officer basic training, and they really, I mean, we were treated like kid gloves. So I never had to go through what real soldiers had to go through. So yeah, he's looking pretty good. Yeah. The only hat I had, because I really wanted to pose him in with the final scene of the movie where he's shooting at a tank that's coming at him with his 45. So he doesn't have a helmet on in that scene. So this is the only helmet I had, and I forgot it had kind of like webbing on it. It's not removable, it's just built into the mold. So I can't put the captain's white symbol on there. So he's without a hat, unless he carries it in a way that you don't see that he's a captain. There we go. Well, maybe a little bit better. Sticking out a little bit more. And maybe just leaning a bit more this way. I think that would be, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so that's the journey with Captain John Miller. The movie was awesome. It was made when?
98.
1998. It was made a long time ago. You know, and still is probably one of the best movies ever made of World War II. And of course, he doesn't survive in the movie. And the premise was that his unit was being sent out to bring back a son whose mother had two boys in the military and one had been killed. So, or three brothers.
Two brothers, both dead.
And both had been killed. So they were obligated to get him back safely. And a whole unit went out to try to retrieve him. And that would be Matt Damon, who is playing Private Ryan. So Captain John Miller was in charge of that particular unit, and ended up sacrificing his life in the end. So I'm very much in support of our troops and all that they've done for us. Having served myself, I know it's not an easy thing to do, and sometimes we forget that. A lot of people have sacrificed their lives to give us the freedoms that we have in this country, and I just hope we never forget that. I'm going to bring back in a second something I made way back when, just to symbolize again how much appreciation I have personally for the military. So we'll be right back. We are back. Here's Captain John Miller, who was a big part of the movie Saving Private Ryan. Wonderful movie. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it. Even though it was made back in 1998, it's still one of the most breathtaking movies that you'll see regarding war. Some time ago, I had my husband help me make this figure. He produced the 3D resin prosthetics that you see here. He modified the model that he had greatly to achieve this look. This is a gentleman looking at a memorial, perhaps thinking of his own personal loss, but of his legs, but also buddies that he may have lost in the war as well. So we should always remember that freedom isn't always free. My father served in the Marines. His brother served in the Navy. My father's sister, her husband, my other uncle, served in the Navy. I've served in the Army. My husband has served in the Army. And we have family members in the Philippines who served in their military as well. My mother even remembers being chased by a soldier at one time with a bayonet when she was very young. So freedom is never free. And I hope we never forget that and do whatever we can to protect the freedoms that we do have. I hope you've liked what you've seen. If you have, consider giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. In the meantime, everyone, please have a great day.